Alright, so this is a sample of what my narration is like when I pick up guests from the hotels in Waikiki. A couple of questions I always ask at the beginning. First question is usually, where are you guys from? I've been all over the world, so maybe I know something about where they're from, and I'll mention stuff and establish a little bit of rapport. And then I ask what kinds of things they want to do today, get an idea of what they want to do so that I can plan my route. Ask them how long they've been here, how much time they have left here, and what they've seen so far. See if they've even been outside of Waikiki, and if so, what part of the island they've already seen, so maybe I don't have to repeat something. And then get underway. So either go to the right up Kapiolani, or if we're going to the North Shore, then head up to H1 West. To head out of Waikiki on our normal route, going counterclockwise around the island, go across the bridge here at Macaulay, and then take the first right at Kapiolani. And that's my apartment building. You can actually see my balcony right up there with the white, the top one on the far side. So make the right turn here on the Kapiolani. So I'll also mention that we have a cooler in the van that has ice in it, so we have bottled water if they want something to drink, or if they've brought anything that they want to keep cold, they can put it in the cooler as well. And also let them know that they have control of the AC in the back by the knob there, so now they have control from their panel in the back. And at this point I'll ask them if they've brought their cameras, and if so, you might want to get them ready. And usually make a joke about if they say yes, we brought their cameras, I'll say, and by camera do you mean your cell phone or a real camera? So if you're one of the drivers that likes to take pictures for your customers, you can mention now that you'll be doing that. And so I tell them here, so as we go up the ramp here, you're going to have a nice view of Diamond Head on the right, so get your cameras ready. Here it comes. Over here on the right is going to be Diamond Head. There it is. Here comes your shot. So Diamond Head was formed about 300,000 years ago. It's one of the later additions to the island, along with this hill that we're going over here, which is a lesser known volcano. It's Coco Crater. But so Diamond Head Crater was formed about 300,000 years ago, and it's like a little pimple on the side of the main volcano, which are the mountains to the left over here, the Coolio Mountains, which was formed about 2 million years ago. This island was formed from 2 large volcanoes. This is the second of those 2. And the first one is behind us. You'll see it again at the end of the tour. That's the Hawaiian Islands volcano, which came up about 3.5 million years ago. So here the Coolio Mountains were formed about 2 million years ago. This is what's left of the volcano. About 2/3 of the volcano actually fell into the ocean. Now coming up is going to be 2 more volcanoes that are similar to Diamond Head that are also later additions to the island. That's Coco Head in front of us, sticking out into the ocean like Diamond Head. And then behind that building over there is Coco Crater, which we'll see again in a little bit. Coming up is going to be the neighborhood of Kahala. And there's a mall over here that most tourists wouldn't know about, the Kahala Mall. It actually has a bust of Jack Lord from the original Hawaii Five-0 over by the Macy's. And so you see the palm trees along the coast there. The houses over there are about $5 million homes. And people refer to this area as the Beverly Hills of Hawaii. So here's the shopping mall, there's the Macy's. And coming up on the right, this golf course here, this is where they have the Sony Open, which they have in January. This is Waialae Country Club. You see these trees in the middle with the little pink flowers. They hang in bunches. Reminds me of Japanese lanterns. And then the petals are really small. They kind of remind me of cherry blossoms. These are rainbow shower trees, and they're from India. And there's a hybrid of this tree that was made here in Honolulu. And so this tree is the official tree of Honolulu. Just recently, the city has passed a new law that whenever they have to replant any kind of foliage like this along the city streets and highways and stuff, the new law says that the new plantings have to be indigenous. And so the rainbow shower trees are not indigenous, they're from India. And so the mayor at the time voted against it, even though it did pass. But his reasoning was they would have to get rid of the rainbow shower trees, which are the official trees of Honolulu. So you see the houses on the ridgeline up there. You notice how the ridgeline has that gradual slope to it. It's like a 30-degree gradual slope. And then you see the valley over here. That slope, that 30-degree slope, that's the original slope of the volcano. And then this valley has been cut into the volcano by erosion from the rain. So that's like 1 million years worth of rain carving out that valley into the volcano. You see the White House up there on the hill on the right towards the bottom. It's got the 3 round balconies. Depending on the tour driver that you get, they'll tell you that that's Keanu Reeves' house, or Bruce Willis's house, or Jackie Chan's house. I don't know whose house it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a gated community, so it's not like I can go and knock on the door and ask. The ridgeline over here to the left is Coolio, and there's a hiking trail that goes up to the top of the mountain. This is one of the hiking trails that we have a permit where we can take people on the trail. And now we're coming into Hawaii Kai. This neighborhood here is one of those neighborhoods where if you ask somebody here where they live and they say Hawaii Kai, you can assume that they have a lot of money. It's built around kind of a natural marina. So some of the people have boat docks in their backyard. And so in Hawaiian, the word Kai, the name of this place, Hawaii Kai, the last part of it, K-A-I, in Hawaiian means ocean water. There's 2 words for water, W-A-Y, like is in Waikiki. W-A-I-Y means fresh water, and Kai means ocean water. So I thought that this place was named for that since it's built around a natural marina. But as it turns out, it was named after the developer, whose last name was Kaiser. Ooh, look at the yellow trees are back in bloom again. The trumpet trees, the flowers are shaped like the bell of a trumpet. And so now over to the left, that's Coco Crater. You see the line running up the middle there. That's an old railroad track where they winched some radar equipment up to the top during the war. And the railroad ties are still there. And people use it as a hiking trail. And so if you look real close, you'll see people walking up the trail. They'll look like little white dots. So that's Coco Crater. So that's Hawaii Kai down below. That's Diamond Head way over there. This is Coco Crater here, and then Coco Head is behind us here. So you see that slope of the volcano there, that gradual 30-degree slope. That's the original slope of the volcano. And you see it goes up to where the highest peak right now is about 3,000 feet. But originally, the volcano, the center was over here. And so if you continue that 30-degree slope up to where the center was, they estimate that the volcano was about 8,000 to 10,000 feet tall. And then it would have had that same gradual slope going down to the right. But the volcano fractured and it split down the middle this way, and this right half of it fell into the ocean. And it slid into the ocean. It slid for about 100 miles to the northeast. And so you can see here on the map of the ocean floor, this is Oahu. And so we're made of two volcanoes, the Waianae volcano on this side, on the west side, and then the Ko'olau volcano here. And so right now we're about right here, and this is the volcano. And so it used to be this big, and then it fractured down the center this way and fell into the ocean this way. And so this is the debris field extending for about 100 miles to the northeast. It was a huge landslide, would have caused a big tsunami. And then the north shore of the island of Molokai has the steepest sea cliffs in the world for the same reason. It broke off and fell into the ocean, and then that's the debris field from that slide from Molokai. Also, the Waianae volcano also had a landslide out here, and so that's the Waianae slump. That's the geological term for when the mountain just kind of collapses and just kind of just like if you've seen the video of the volcano in Washington when it blew up, how it kind of just slid down the side. And so yeah, so that volcano there used to be all the way up to there and then down this way. And then if you follow that slope down until you reach the back of Diamond Head and stop there, and then start coming around this way, the coastline where the houses are there. So that was the original edge of the volcano. And then along that there would have been a coral reef growing around the volcano. And so when these little volcanoes like Diamond Head and Coco Crater and Coco Head came up, they had to burst up through that coral reef. And so if you hike Diamond Head, you'll notice that there's a lot of calcite there from where the volcano pushed up all of the coral. And so when we pull back out onto the road here, in the layers of debris here from Coco Head, you're going to see white chunks of coral that got blasted up into the air. And so here's a map of the ocean floor. This is Hawaii here. This is Japan on this side over here. And this is California over here. And so the Hawaiian Islands that we know now is just this small section here. But you see all of these other islands here. These are previous Hawaiian Islands. And so the way that the Hawaiian Islands are formed, it's what they call a hot spot. And so there's a place where the lava comes up and it forms an island. And then that island is then sitting on the Pacific Plate, which is gradually shifting to the northwest. And so the lava will come up, form the island, and then the island will shift to the northwest, and the lava will come up and form another island, and then that one shifts to the northwest, and then another island. And so you get this conveyor belt, you get this chain of islands, and it's continually making islands. And so this is where the hot spot is now, at the south end of the Big Island, and then these are the islands that exist now. And now these are all former Hawaiian Islands. So the Hawaiian Islands, when the islands are made, the lava piles up from the ocean floor all the way until it reaches, sea level, and then builds from there up, 4 to 10,000, 14,000 feet in the case of Mauna Kea on the Big Island. And so that's a lot of lava piled up. And so the weight of all that lava is actually pressing down on the crust, and that causes the islands to sink. And also as they move away from that hot spot, it's kind of a bulge there, so they're also sliding off of that bulge and they're getting lower that way. So they're sinking, they're sliding off of the bulge, plus the erosion is working on them. So this island used to be 8 to 10,000 feet. Now it's down to 3,000. That's that side of the island over there is the rainy side. The rain is working on that mountain and it's eroding it down. A couple of million years from now, you know, it'll be almost flat, and then eventually what happens in the case of all these other islands here, it gets all the way down to sea level and then it sinks below sea level, and then what you have left is the coral reef that's growing around the volcano. It's alive, so it keeps building on itself, and so it maintains itself right at sea level as a coral reef, and you get a coral atoll, usually with a hole in the middle where the island used to be, and so these islands here, this volcano here was formed 2 million years ago. The Waianae volcano on the west side was 3.5 million years ago. The island of Kauai was 5 million years ago, and so that's here. And so if you extrapolate that backwards in time, you can see that this island building process has been going on for about 75 million years. And so you would never find any dinosaur fossils in the Hawaiian Islands because they were all formed after the dinosaurs went extinct about 65 million years ago. This curve in the island chain here is interesting. Scientists have been trying to figure out how that was caused. And one time at Bishop Museum, I was watching, they have this big sphere that they project things onto, like the hurricane season, showing all the hurricanes as they're moving. And one of them was, it was showing the plate tectonics moving. And it showed the Hawaiian Islands being formed, and then it showed the Indian subcontinent used to be down by Antarctica. And so you could see on there the plate tectonics, India was coming up, and then it slams into Asia, which formed, you know, the Himalayas, Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. So that collision of the Indian subcontinent into Asia, that timing coincided with this bend in the Hawaiian island chain here. And I suggested to some of my friends in the astronomy club that might be, you know, what caused it. And they were like, oh no, you're crazy. But recently I've actually found scientific papers where they're saying that they think that might be the cause. So now as we pull back out onto the road here, if you pay attention to the layering over here, you're going to see those white chunks of coral that I was talking about, starting at the top layer right up there. And then right in here, you see the white chunks. That's pieces of coral that got blasted up into the air when this volcano came up and formed Coco Head, which is now Hanauma Bay, which is one of the most popular snorkeling spots on the island. So this volcano here, back during the last ice age, the ocean level was much lower than it is now by about 300 feet. And because a lot of the world's water was frozen on the ice caps. But as we came out of the ice age and the ice caps melted and it brought the ocean level up to where it is now, the water overflowed the crater wall and it formed a bay. So that is now Hanauma Bay. And what you can't see from here is that back to the right, there's a beach, and then there's a reef that protects that beach, and it makes it a really nice snorkeling spot for the tourist. Now, usually as we come around the corner here, you can see the next island of Molokai, but it's very hazy today. The haze is what we call fog, like fog or smog, but fog with a V for volcano, because this is actually smoke coming from the volcano on the Big Island, about 200 miles away. And it's actually made of SO2, sulfuric oxide. So it really bothers people who have allergies. Your eyes will itch, or if you have an asthma problem or anything like that, it bothers you that way. But right out there would be the island of Molokai, the island of Lanai, and on a really clear day you can see the island of Maui. And that rest stop that we just passed there in the winter time, about December through March or April, is a good spot to see the whales. So you see that little strip of sand down there where the waves are washing up onto the beach. This is where they filmed that famous love scene for the movie From Here to Eternity. So if you haven't seen the movie, it was a 1950s movie, black and white, Burt Lancaster and the British actress Deborah Kerr. And so in the movie, they were playing in the water about where that couple is now. And then Deborah Kerr runs up and lays herself on the sand. And then he comes down on top of her and kisses her really hard. And Deborah Kerr, the British actress, goes, "Nobody's ever kissed me that way before." And so that was a very risque scene for the 1950s. And it's been voted the #1 love scene of all time. And so we call this place From Here to Eternity Beach. And right there where the sand goes back, there's actually a lava tube from the volcano here that is just big enough for you to walk through. Gets pretty narrow at the end to where by the time you get to the end you pretty much have to crawl on your belly to get out the other side. But the first part of it you can walk in, and so that's a lava tube. Down here in the water, a lot of times I'll see turtles in here, like along the edge or in this little cove over here. And then in the winter time, like December through March or April, you can see whales out here as they pass by. And then over on this side is going to be the blowhole. So here's a map of the islands with the exception of Kauai and the Big Island, which you can't see from here. And so right now we're about here. And so normally on a clear day you can look across here and you can see the island of Molokai, which looks like it's in two pieces. You'll have a low piece in the front, that's West Molokai, and then a high piece to the left, and that's East Molokai, which is about 5,000 feet tall. And then over to the right there is the island of Lanai, which you can normally see just under some clouds. That's how you can spot it. And then on a really clear day you can look across this point here and you can see Maui. The volcano of Haleakala here is about 10,000 feet. And so you can see that from here. So a lot of the tour guides will tell you when you see that low part and that high part to the right, they'll tell you that that's Maui, but that's incorrect. Maui would be to the left, not to the right. And so down here to see the blowhole, you kind of got to come over here to the left. You can't see it from over there because that rock is in the way. So you need to come to the left over here. And then right down there where that not so bright person is standing, she's going to look down into the hole where the blowhole are. There's many people who have died here. Just a couple of years ago, there was a couple of army guys that went out there and they died. It took 24 hours for them to find the second body. And that post right over there, just beyond where the girl in the black is standing, there's flowers over there. That's for those two army guys that died doing what that lady is doing down there. So the blowhole is that little hole that she was looking in there. And the waves need to be coming right out of the, you need a south swell so that the waves come in this way, because there's a tube here that the water will go through and then it shoots up from there. And on a really good day, it shoots up like this high. And so that's called the Halono blowhole. So over here to the right, this sandy beach is called Sandy Beach. So if you've seen that famous picture of President Obama body surfing, that was here. There was a couple of local politicians that wanted to rename this beach Obama Beach, but that didn't go over very well with the locals, and so they quickly retracted that idea. So the shore break there, it's kind of small today, but normally it's really ferocious. I mean, people literally break their necks there. So you see the sign here says caution. Here on the ground, you see all this broken glass. This is glass from people's windows that have been busted. If people leave bags and purses in their car like that, then these will just they can look in the window and see there's a purse right there. I can see her little Gucci billfold inside. So people will just bust the windows and take your valuables. So this is Makapu'u Lookout, and the big island over here, that's called Rabbit Island. Look looks like the head of a rabbit sticking out of the water, with the ears going back to the left and the nose of the rabbit there. And so there's a children's book called The Tale of Rabbit Island. And in the book, the rabbit is being harassed by the Eva bird. Eva is the Hawaiian name for the frigate bird, which has long black wings, and it's famous for stealing fish from other birds. It can cause them to drop their fish, and then it swoops down and catches the fish. And so Eva is the Hawaiian word for thief, and so they call that bird the Eva bird. And so in the children's book, the Eva bird was harassing the rabbit, and the humpback whale came to save the rabbit. And so the island in the foreground is the dorsal fin of the humpback whale. A couple of guys snorkeling down there. It's not a great snorkeling spot. I've snorkeled here before, just out of curiosity to see what's down there, and it's not a great spot. But so over here to the right, got a couple of bunkers left over from World War II. There's one here and another one a little bit further up this way. And then, oh, it's a very hazy day. It's too bad I did this on such a hazy day. But so over here in the distance, there's a peninsula over here that when I started doing this about 5 years ago, my Australian guests would say that it looks like the snout of a crocodile. And then there's a couple of islands in front of that that are kind of looks like they're split in two. It's two separate islands. And so further on in the tour, we're going to be on the other side of that crocodile, looking back this way, and from that side the crocodile is going to look like something else, and then those two islands that are to the right of it are going to look like something as well from the other side. Actually, it turns out that it looks like two elephants, a mama elephant and a baby elephant, and then the crocodile ends up looking like a giant turtle. And then the double humped island in the foreground there, that's actually two islands in a row. Those are the islands, those are the mokes, M-O-K-S, the mokes in front of Lanikai Beach. And then down here where the orange roof is, that's Sea Life Park. So if you saw the movie 51st Dates, that's where Adam Sandler worked with the sea lions and the walrus. And in the movie, you can actually see Rabbit Island in the background. And that's where the Chief's luau is. And then the pier over there, that's the Oceanic Institute, part of Hawaii Pacific University. And then there's this long white beach over there. That's Waimanalo Beach. And the second half of that beach is Bellows Air Force Base, which was bombed during Pearl Harbor. And there was a Japanese mini-sub that washed up on shore there, and they captured the guy that was inside of it, and he became the first prisoner of war. And then this is Makapu'u Beach. So in Hawaiian, Makapu'u, the word maka in Hawaiian means eye, and then pu'u is hill. And so there's a hole in the hill up here that looks like an eye from the right angle. And so maka means eye and pu'u is hill, Makapu'u. So if you follow where that long white beach comes to that point there, and so from that point around the other side to the other side of the crocodile, which by the way on the back of the crocodile you can see the white houses over there, that's the housing for the Marine Corps base. So follow the white beach to the point. So from that point, just the other side of that point is Lanikai Beach, and then Kailua Beach and Kalama Beach Park. So about 3 or 4 years ago, the town of Kailua passed a law that tour companies cannot bring people to those beaches. From that point, all along Lanikai Beach, Kailua Beach Park, and Kalama Beach Park, all the way over to the Marine Corps base. Tour companies can't bring people to those beaches as of about 4 years ago. And then the town of Waimanalo over here, this is Hawaiian homestead land here, so Waimanalo added themselves to that law. And so now, so that was Bill 8 that got adopted on that first side over there, and then this was Bill 11. So now Bill 11 says that tour companies aren't allowed to go to the beaches from here at Makapu'u all the way over to Bellows Beach. So inclusive now between here and there and there and there. So now tour companies can't go to any of the beaches all the way from here at Makapu'u all the way to the Marine Corps base. So this is practically the entire east side of the island that tour companies cannot let people out at the beach. If you're ever doing the tour backwards, when you're coming this way, you can see a submarine. See the rock formation there? It looks like a submarine. It's really cool sometimes when people are standing on it. And then how quickly it no longer looks like a submarine.